Hello everyone, welcome back to Motion RC Live. It is Friday. What is today? July 19th. Second live show of the week because we have a big boat we want to unbox. I told you about it last week when we unboxed the Dusseldorf fireboat. That this one was coming. Right below me down here is the gigantic box, and I'll pull it up in a little bit as people come into the show, if people are going to come into the show. If not, this is our second live show this week. Wes went live on Tuesday, I believe that was, because we just released a new little line of mini warbirds from Skynetic, so he showed off all those. And as you know, when we get things, we like to unbox them live because it's just a great way to answer questions directly. It's a great way for people to see, you know, rather than an edited down video or of an assembly or an unboxing or something where it takes time. I love to do it for the boats, especially because these boats, they're just packaged so well, and they look beautiful when you pull them out. You know, all our Bancroft warships, at least, you know, all designed not only as awesome RC models to impress, you know, if you're in an RC boat club or just for your own enjoyment, but they're also like very detailed and great museum pieces in an essence. Like you could put them on your mantle. If you're a boat guy, you know, I mean, putting one up on your mantle looks great in the workshop. They're just great display models as well. So this is all, they're awesome, you know, in both ways. We have people who buy them that never use them for RC. They just use them as static models, and you know, you can do that because static modeling is awesome. Good day to you, Bowen. I see Ovid. Hello, Watson's Models. How are you? So we've been on here for a second. Let me show you this box. So the one we're unboxing today, actually talk about that for a second. It's the Charles Adams. It's a U.S. guided missile destroyer. It was commissioned from 1960. It served till about 1990. It was decommissioned. So definitely served its time. But then I was reading a whole story, you know, a long story that it was supposed to become a museum piece. When they decommissioned it in 1990, it was set to possibly, I think the landing spot was going to be Jacksonville. They needed something like $10 million to build the pier, to build the museum around it and have it parked there. And they were going back and forth for years, but apparently in 2021, they couldn't get it done. So 31 years after it decommissioned, like it only served for 30 years from 1960 to 1990, but then 31 years later, it finally got sent to Texas and got scrapped. So the Charles Adams guided missile destroyer no longer exists at all anymore, but this is the big box. Now what I've done, so I'm gonna center it on the camera here, and you see I'm behind it, but I just pulled, this box comes with a, you know, a top piece that completely pulls off. So I've pulled that off already because I like to show people, you know, a top-down view of the, you know, of the model. I'm going to slide it back a little bit. Maybe we get a little more light in the box, but you can see that when you take, you know, the top off, you can see how, you know, you don't have to worry about shipping with these things. And I like to do this because this one actually about 3 times I missed the FedEx guy. So on the last delivery temp I got to him, but he apparently pulled this out of his truck, you know, went all the way up to the door, nobody was there, moved it back to his truck. So this thing's been taken out and, you know, put back in the trunk numerous times. And, you know, I just want to show people that even if that happens, you don't really have to, these things are very well packaged with all the foam that I still have yet to receive one that had, like, you know, catastrophic disasters or anything within shipping, because they are boxed really well. So I just like to show that, you know, it's great to do it live when we're here. So let me pull this up now, and I'm going to do how I normally do these. Is I'm going to cut, well, first things first, I'm going to cut all the tape at the top, because all that foam is taped in securely. So I'm going to cut all that off. And then there's a box up top, which is going to hold your transmitter. Usually has the battery, because, you know, this warship, like all the warships, come ready to run. So it's going to come with a transmitter. It's going to come with a battery, and it's going to come with a charger. And then it has manual. So that was taped into the box. We'll get to that in a sec. Let me see if I can pull out this box at the top. Just cutting the tape through. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, the idea that what I like about these boats is because I don't have a big Navy history background, but when we get one, it's cool to sort of go back in time and, you know, see what the real life versions of these things, you know, what they were used for, where they served, what they did. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't go too much farther than Wikipedia for that, but that's okay. So this is the first box that comes out. This is the only box that's in the in here. They actually made a nice little. Oh, they used some plywood to make like a little shelf, if you will, in here for the for that box. But this box, as you will see, has a checklist. A lot of the Bancroft models come with a checklist from the warehouse, which is kind of cool. So it just shows that somebody there checked off everything that needed to make sure that everything was in the box before it got shipped out, you know, handwritten. So I like that they kind of throw that in there. We got our transmitter, which is the newest version of the transmitters that come. Nice gimbal protectors, which is cool. And we got a secondary, we got a second bag, which does have a U.S. flag sticker. And it looks like it has a piece of the deck. So that must be a hatch, probably, that we're going to be able to access. And this is just what's going to cover that hatch. And then it has a bind plug for the receiver. And that's only if you ever were to lose bind. But these are always usually, you know, well, they've always been bound up right out of the box, which is okay. Then we've got our charger. So you get a plug, which will plug into the back of the charger. Same standard charger, and it charges from the balance port. And then you got your LiPo battery, which comes in a bag, but 2800 2-cell. And then to charge that up, you just plug it into the balance port. And when you plug this in to power, you'll get 2 red lights because it's a 2-cell pack, and when those lights turn green, you know you're charged up. So very simple in how that functions. Now I'm going to move all this stuff out of the way because we're going to try. Not gonna lie, I actually love that they give you these big pieces of plywood. I save these because if you ever need to make something, a battery tray for anything else, anything, that plywood comes in handy. I don't know you, but I like saving stuff like that. All right. So now, oh, one more thing I could pull from the side. This is going to be our display stand, or just your stand in general to manipulate, you know, to have the boat at rest when you're working on it. So I could take that up. These always come in 4 parts. So the 2 longer sections, and then the 2 cross sections. And then they just press together. I'll get that pressing together now. I like to put one side in fully. Now sometimes they're very tight and sometimes they can be a little loose. So if they're a little loose, add a little CA glue to them, however you want to do it. But these are good for, you know, transport or just working on it in general. So make sure that fits in there. There we go. 1, 2. And then give it a little press. Bang. Now this one looks like it's almost even. Sometimes you could tell each side is going to be a little different on this because one will be molded for the rear, one will be molded for the front. And this one actually looks like it has a wider semicircle. So we'll figure out which way is which way in a second. So I'm going to move that out of the way for now. And then I'm going to try to open the box the way I do it for the live shows. And this actually, I mean, if you're by yourself, this is probably the best way to unbox these on your own. Trying to lift it out of the box, the whole boat, it could be a bit daunting, but I like to cut it like a door, and then you could sort of slide the whole thing out on your own. So I'm just going to the side off camera, cutting down the side of the box. And now you can see when we open it, you sort of get the internal skeletal view of how this thing is, you know, packaged up. I see John. Is it possible to replace the receiver to enable use of extra? Of course, John. I've actually done that before with the aircraft carrier. I put a Futaba receiver in there and used my Futaba transmitter instead. It's like anything else. The receiver, you know, for these boats, Most of these boats only use 2 channels. You got thrutter. That's a throttle rudder combination. The thrutter, no, but throttle and rudder. That's it. And then if you're adding lights, or if you're adding, like the fireboat has a water cannon motor, so that was a 3rd channel. But for the most part, it's only 2 channels. So you can put any transmitter combination you want. If you don't like driving these around with the aircraft kind of transmitter that it comes with, you know, some of them do come with a pistol grip, like an RC car. You can get one of those. You can bind these up however you wish. You know, I guess the better part of doing that, like binding it up to your more expensive transmitter and receiver, would be that, you know, you'd still get the ability, not that you'd need it, but, you know, you could put like rates on your rudder if you wanted to, things like that. You know, things that a RTR transmitter won't come with. But for the most part, you know, the best thing about RC boats is they don't really do too much, you know, in that respect. They don't need a lot of, ooh, is this glued down? This might be the first one that's glued down, Alex. Glued? Like the foam is glued to the box, interestingly enough. So I take this down. I just don't want to crush models behind me. So look at that. So I took it down. So the box is still like in one piece. I don't like to get, well, I'm going to get rid of the box, but I would recommend you guys not. If anything, you could cut the box, cut it in half this way, and it becomes a good travel case. You can use the foam, this foam, save it. You know, if you're somebody that's going to be taking this boat to the lake, taking it to the water, taking it anywhere, use that box, you know, find a place to store it. I got to get rid of, I can't store, you know, I've unboxed what, like 30 of these boats at this point. We wouldn't be able to store all this cardboard properly. But, you know, I would suggest for, you know, the average person doing this, you know, save these boxes because it's good stuff. So now as far as the foam, you see it just cut, like that was just pressed on, but it does a good job at protecting, you know, everything. And now one thing we noticed, Alex noticed it right off the bat, is the only reason this box is as tall as it is, because it is a taller box, is because it's got a huge superstructure. And I guess in real life, obviously, now I'm doing comparisons to other Bancroft models. So like behind me is the 1/150 Missouri. That's a much bigger boat, but the 200th Missouri is about just as long as this 1/100th Charles Adams. So, you know, being that this Charles Adams is 1/100 scale, that means, you know, in real life, the ship was a lot smaller than, let's say, the Missouri battleship. But what's cool on a model, having a big size with a smaller scale, like 1/100 scale, you get more pronounced features. So the guns are bigger, you know, the ladders are bigger, like everything on the ship itself is a little bigger and less, less small, I guess, if that's what I'm going for. But, you know, going down, you see it's got this really, really tall superstructure. So I kind of dig that. But we're just taking everything off the top. Now, is there anything? I just want to see if sometimes there's things between the foam. I don't think so. But I'm not going to toss anything out. But yeah, they glued the foam. This is the first time they glued the bottom piece of foam down. So I'd have to cut it out of the box to, you know, to get the foam out. But either way, even if you just wanted to keep this, like this I can pull off, because this you wouldn't need anymore. But you could just cut the box, leave the cardboard on the bottom, and, you know, just take that whole cardboard piece with you. And this is still a great way to manipulate the boat, the ship. But I'm going to pull it right out. Check that out. You know, they put this ribbon tape all around the ship, and that helps with, you know, that helps keep the hatches together, because I believe on this ship, both superstructures will come off to give you access, and you could see on the bottom that one little hatch piece is right here, and that's, you know, removed, that came in the bag, so that gives you access to manipulate your rudders. It's a double rudder on this ship, which is sweet. So they just give you straight access to that. And then I notice with the bottom of the hull here, this part is wider than this part. So that's how the stand worked. Put the wider portion one way or the other. I want to get this box out of here a second, Allie. But this might be, let's see. I'm gonna flip it back up. I'm gonna move it over. I'm gonna flip this way. Hold on, we're doing it live. We're going live. And then I'm gonna go, boom. There we go. I'll get it out of here. All right, lock myself in. Now, let's just get to the Charles Adams. It's a beautiful looking ship. I mean, obviously a lot of the Navy ships, they all have that same red, gray paint scheme. So, you know, even if you see that a lot, but like on this ship versus, well, the 1/150 it does it, but I don't think the 1/200 like doesn't have this kind of detail, like these stickers with like the water lines and the numbers on the side, like they get a little more detailed. One thing about these Bancroft ships too, all these railings, you can hear it they're all brass. So like there's a lot of metal and plastic mixed in on the ship. This ship has most of the modern ships, well, shouldn't say that. This one, the Missouri, has wood decking up top, but I guess in real life this one didn't have any wood decking, so there's no real wood on it. But a lot of the ships, you know, do have the wood decking. So super cool. What's up, Vic? Happy Friday. And John, yep. Glad I was able to answer that question for you. Now, what am I looking at here? All right, this cable. So it doesn't look like anything. One thing I like about this ship too, not that I don't mind on the other, but the rigging sometimes, like it doesn't look like you have to maneuver rigging to get anything apart, like the Titanic or the Missouri doesn't, but like the Yamato, some of the rigging you have to actually remove, and you know that stuff can get tangled up and break little bits if you pull too hard. You know, it's one thing when you're around these boats, no sharp movements. You know, be as careful as you can possibly be. So now I'm going to start cutting these ribbons just to take all these off. These are made of like, almost made of like paper. They're not like hard to cut, and they won't really do any damage. You cut them and just remove them, but they slice pretty easily, and then they just slip right out. So I'm just slicing right down the side, and then just pulling on one. Boop. Boop. You hear it? You see? Almost getting caught on my shirt. That's what happens. There we go. Just manipulate it nice and easy. The ribbon will come off. I think that's all the ribbons. So now, let me get rid of these. Let's remove the superstructure and have a look inside at where we're going to be ballasting things up. Does this? Oh, look at that. Okay. Wow, this whole structure comes off. So let's see. I'm going to, this one comes off by itself. The big tall superstructure. Sweet. But nothing electronic down there, so that's probably where we're going to put our battery. All the electronics are going to be below this. I just want to make sure I do this right. I think this whole, look at that. Wow. That whole structure removes. Sweet, I thought it was just the top part. But wow, easy access to nice and clean internals, you know, on the boat. And you can see all the fiberglass inside. It's always beautifully crafted, these models. You got your twin motor system. It's two screws on the back. And then you got your rudder servo, which actually this one's done differently than some of the other ones. Like I noticed, like on the fireboat, it's one rod, one control rod was directing 4 rudders, was manipulating all. This is, you know, 2 rods manipulating the 2 rudders. I don't think that's going to make any difference. Again, a ship like this, you're not looking for speed and agility, if you will. You know, you're going to be mostly putting this around, you know, driving this around scale. But then now you can see right on maybe on the lip here, you got your on-off switch, which is attached to the ESC, which is already, you know, tied down nicely. And then there's your receiver over here. So John, if you're looking, sorry, moving my finger to see it on camera. There you go. Just 2 wires in. So we got our servo wire, which they have plugged into whatever the rudder port is going to be. And then your throttle lead is going to be in the throttle, just like a plane or anything else would work. So it's really, really awesome. What's up, Stratmaster? You have the Missouri. Which one? The 150 or the 1200? I say that because I actually do have them both here. Gorgeous aircraft, gorgeous ships, and I'm hoping after we get this one done, the North Carolina and the Arizona now is available. I'd like to get those over here and take a look as well. But yeah, we're in on the lifeboat detail, looking good there. But all around, I'm super excited about this. So now going into our you know, and again, there's really nothing to do as far as like setup, guys. The only thing you're going to want to do is ballast this bad boy. So I made a whole video on how to ballast, or how I ballast the boats, because, you know, there's hundreds of ways to skin a cat, so they say. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But here's like that extra, the added hatch. That's going to go right on the back of the ship, and it is magnet driven. And the decals for whatever this area is on the back of the ship line up. So there's only one way to really, you know, there's only one way to do it. But it's magnetically driven, which is nice. So you can see the magnets are holding it out of place, and then we'll slip right in. So that's cool. I love that they do that. What's up, EQRC? All around, that looks really, really beautiful. I'll just blow some of the box dust off of it. But all around, does this spin? Okay, our turret spins on the front. I can't even see under there. All right, yeah. I mean, if you want to do some work and get your hand in there, you could probably manipulate this to make it move. You can move the gun up and down as well. Sorry. You can move the gun up and down at your leisure, and this will spin. A little tight, but it'll spin. And then the same for the gun on the smaller superstructure here. That'll manipulate and move as well. Cool. Does our missile array? Our missile array also moves, because I mean, it's a guided missile destroyer, so I'd hope there'd be a big area to shoot some missiles off of. That's cool. All around, just a beautiful ship. So now my thought process on here, again, when I go to ballast, the first thing I'm going to want to do, what I've done with other ships in the past, is my receiver, my ESC is mounted to this wall. My receiver's mounted to this wall. There's weight on the right side. So more than likely, I'm going to put the battery somewhere here, and I'll have it over on the left side. Because the first thing I'm going to do when I go to ballast this, I'm going to put the battery, I usually use like tape. I'll Velcro it eventually for like permanence. But, you know, I'll just put a piece of tape on it to stick it there. And I'm going to take this and just put this in the water. So maybe fill up a bathtub, bring it to a pool if you got it. Or if you go to the lake, you know, stay in the lake, drop it down just like this. Take a look at how it goes with nothing on the top. Don't even put the superstructure on. And just try to get it balancing this way. Don't worry about the water line yet. You know, and I do that with the battery, because then all the other ballast I use. Now, what I tend to always use, I don't have the bags under here. Alex, I think they're right on that. Yeah, right there. And I should give me a case of the BBs. But I use plastic bags, Ziploc bags, and BBs. So BBs are pretty cheap. At Walmart is where I'll pick them up. I think this, for $11.99, this is about 6 pounds of BBs, I think it is, something like that. It's not, it's 6,000 BBs in here, but you do get a lot of weight. You know, BBs are heavy. And the best thing about the BBs, when you put them in like a plastic bag, they'll be able to manipulate on the, you know, on the deck and take whatever shape you want. So I fill up a bunch of usually 1 pound bags at the start, and I'll have this in the water, and then I'll start putting some, you know, bags of BBs, because I want to see, because you could tell right off the bat when you put in the water, is it, you know, is some of these ships, the motors are so far back that right away you know that more of the weight's going to have to go towards the front. Other ones are almost perfectly balanced where they are. Like this is actually, these motors are actually, you know, the heaviest part inside are actually almost center of the ship, so that's nice. So I might not need as much weight in any one location. It's more about getting the weight and just bringing, you know, you want to bring the water line right to that, that black strip when you go. So I will put ballast in there, but again, with the superstructures off, and I'll get the water line close. But remember, those things do add weight, and the superstructures will add more topsy-turviness, you know, hard, I don't have a word for it. Why am I forgetting the word for it? Is there a word for that? You know, since it gives it height, like it just would make it a little less stable, you know. Topsy-turvy, I guess, is all I can really say about it. But, you know, once those are on and the water line's there, yeah, anyway, I made a whole video on how to do it. I can't do it here. I actually thought about trying to do it live once, like bringing in a inflatable swimming pool, filling up the in here, but I'm like, oh, just the pump to get the water out. God forbid it were to break or something, get water all over the place, would not be fun. But all around, I like to ballast just using bags and BBs. And other guys, I've seen, if this is like a permanent thing, you know, once you get it, they'll pour the BBs in the bottom of the ship entirely. Let them, you know, let them stay, and then they'll pour like glue or epoxy down, and they'll keep it, you know, and that'll be permanent, and they'll just have permanent ballast, which is great. If, you know, I don't like to do that because, again, these are not mine. These are the company's boats, you know. I don't do any sort of things permanent. I like to be able, I also we need to make another video in a year or something to show it off. I want to have it looking as close to how it came out of the box, you know, as it did. So I'll do that. But with the bags, again, the beauty is you put the bags in, and then even if there's a lean, sometimes you don't have to add more weight. You could just move the BBs around, you know. You could shimmy it, sort of like I'll pick the boat up when everything's on, and I'll just shimmy it a little bit. And when I put it back in the water, it'll be, you know, it'll be balanced and it'll work. So there's a million ways to do it, though. There's a bunch of other ways that people have done it. That's just the way that I've done all these boats, and it's worked to great success. I've yet to lose an RC warship, Alex. How about that? I haven't capsized one. I haven't had one sink to the bottom of the lake, but all around super cool. So then putting this superstructure back on, it's as simple as just fitting it on. And just obviously be careful. Don't do this, you know, you don't want to drop it on or anything. You always want to be careful with this. And these are not heavy at all. Is there anything even in there? I can't tell. No, mostly just hollow. Oh, I should have did the front. I'll do the front first. I think the front will actually be easier. I don't want to slide, because see, when you get, this is the issue. You got a lot of like little pieces that are just hanging off, that are just waiting. They're just dying for you to hit them with your arm or something and break them off and bust out the CA glue. So you just got to be careful, and I almost feel like no matter what you do, you're going to break something off of these. It's just going to happen. It's like the world is against you when it comes to small things sometimes like this. Oh, wait. Nope, I gotta do, okay, that ladder assures me, Alex, this ladder assures me that you have to put
the big one first.
The big one's got to come off first and go on last.
Oh, I meant the other one is the big one.
Yeah, oh, this is the big one. Okay.
That's the tall one.
The tall one has to come on first and go on last, or else you won't be able to get it on. So then, let's just make sure this is right. You're only going to fit one way. There you go. Look at that. I mean, it's right there. They made that perfect. But all around, beautiful ship. I'm excited to get this in the water ASAP. It's Friday. I don't know if you guys are down south, but where I am, it is We're supposed to have
It's gross.
terrible. It's gross. We're supposed to have a terrible thunderstorm soon. Thunder all day tomorrow. We got storms coming through. So hopefully we get this on the water Monday. If we get on the water Monday, we'll have this video of it moving around Tuesday. No doubt, maybe Wednesday, the latest. But all around super cool. So when it comes to the flag, I believe the flag attaches up here on this wire. I always love where I can on these ships to attach these flags, even though they're, you know, just stickers. I love attaching to the real rope rigging because when there is wind, you know, it'll actually sort of move, which is cool. I don't like if you know, some of them you're putting the flags on like, you know, on the thick pieces that don't go anywhere. So the flag just always stays still even on a windy day. You'd have to get an actual cloth flag or something to do it. But based on the directions, this says to put the flag on up here. So I'm putting the string in the middle of the flag. And then I'm folding it and being as careful as I can be. And there we go. And then I squeeze it down tight. And there we are. We got our American flag up top. You could take a razor blade and fine cut it and, you know, get it more perfect. But all around, super cool. None of these radars move. So I'm just checking to see what other things might be manipulatable. Oh, there you go. Rocket. There's a rocket back here. And that will rotate. Cool. I like that.
I'm laughing at Bill's comment.
Well, what did there are photo illustrated instructions include how to do this, but James has been realistic and not of how to do what? What did I miss? Of how to do the there is. Let's check the manual. I'm sorry. Does anyone check the manual first? Don't you just want to rip it open first?
I can figure this out.
You know? Why do I want to be told all this stuff? Okay. All right, notes for bridge opening and resetting. And it's the full instructions. Take the boat out of the carton, put it on the table, and unwrap it. We did that. Check. First, lift the bow bridge. Hold the front end of the bridge and the part of the smoke brine with the smoke brine.
Check.
With both hands, then gently lift. During lift and reset, please pay attention to the support of the life raft on both sides.
Check.
I guess they have you grabbing the structure from here. Yeah, I mean I did it. Then reset. Okay, the reset. Basically, all it's saying is reset is to install the tail bridge first. So that's the tail bridge, and then the bow bridge. So please note the order cannot be confused. Okay, so I guess people were putting this one on and then jamming this one in or vice versa and breaking stuff. So they made sure they included it on the instructions. It's just 4-step instructions that basically did what I managed to figure out.
Let me get a B-cam spin.
B-cam spin?
Yeah.
Let's take a look. But all around, absolutely gorgeous ship. And like I said before, I love, while Alex is going to give you a little detail tour. You want me to cock it?
Yeah, front.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Alex is going to take you on a little tour there. I'm going to go grab, let's see if I can grab a 200 scale warship. Just to, you know, the pronounced feature. This box is blocking me in now. Okay. All right. Out of my way. Sorry, these boxes are all over the place. But there you go. Do I have access to a 200 scale? No, I don't have one that I can easily just pull out right now, unfortunately. I should have thought of that before we went live, but I don't have it. They're all packed away pretty nicely on there. But again, the 100 scale ships, I like the ships with the lower scale, again, for the more pronounced features, like, you know, seeing the rivet detail, you know, all around here. Like, a lot of this is like little metal bits, little brass bits, just on the turret alone. that you're not going to get as detailed on a 200 scale model. Though the 200 scale models are usually going to be bigger subjects, so there's more stuff, you know. You could tell that this guided missile destroyer is a little simpler in terms of what it's doing than what other ships, I guess, have done. But all around, super, super cool. Just seeing the detail. So again, like there's brass up here. That's even brass up here. I think most of the structure is going to be plastic up top, but all the little details on it are brass. And then we can take a look. I'll flip it to the rear. You can see the rudders and the screws underneath. And there's nothing holding, you know, no magnets or anything on the top. What they called them? I called them the superstructure and pull. I forget what they just called them. The bridge, the bridges, the tail bridge and the bow bridge. I never called it that before. Oh, I gotta clean that off. That just looks like foam from the packaging being stuck. But your rudders are here and your twin screw on the drive. There you go. All around, super, super neat. And that's actually a cool detail too that they got, which I'm just noticing back on the front here, Alex. Right at the very beginning, you see the railing, you know, comes down, doesn't go straight across because this is where the anchor, and then these are actual metal chains. They glue them down in some spots up here, the black chain, but you see that's where the anchor would, you know, would deploy down. So I thought that was cool too. It looks like a multiple or two different types of anchors there, which is kind of cool. All around, super impressive as always to unbox one of these Bancroft warships. I absolutely love it. But guys, any quick questions? It's already 12:40. I can't believe we've been on for 40 minutes just to basically take something out of the box and talk about it. I don't have to do anything to it, but it's goes to show I can talk about anything for a long time. But I'm super stoked about this. I can't wait to get it in the water. I believe I have a link in the description to the Charles Adams. And remember, this came recently. It's only about 2 or 3 weeks they've been on the site. This came with the new 1/150 scale Titanic, which I hope to see one day. Those have been moving fast. We got the fireboat, the Dusseldorf fireboat. Then we got this Charles Adams guided missile destroyer, and then we have the Arizona and the North Carolina battleships, which I'm excited to see. And I'm forgetting, Alex, if you're go to the Bancroft boat section. So RC models at the top, shot by brand boats, shot by brand boats down at the bottom left. There you go. Go to Bancroft, and then sort by new for me. And then I just want to see what scale the Arizona and the, yeah, sort by new. There we go. So the Arizona and the North Carolina, awesome. They're 200 scale. So those got to be next. Bill, if you're there, send them out because I want to have, we could have the North Carolina, the Arizona, and the Missouri on the table together. And then I could have the Yamato, the Nagato, and the... Oh, what's the third one? We have it. Why am I forgetting?
Japanese or German?
The Japanese. It was the Yamato, the Nagato. It'll be on the website. I forget what it's called. But we have, I believe I have 3 battleships from Japan, and now we'll have 3. And they're all 200 scale. So maybe we could get them. It'd be cool to have them all in the lake together. See, now you got to go divide by, go up. Are we in Bancroft? Mm-hmm. Click $500 and up. There you go. That'll keep out all the riffraff. And then head on down. There it is. See the Nagato?
Congo.
The Congo. That was it. How did I forget Congo?
The easiest one.
The easiest one. That probably should have been the easiest one to remember. But that'll be cool. So to have all three of them, together, that's the. That'd be cool to see in the order. We need more hands. We need more guys who could just come. If you live near me and want to just drive a boat, that'll be really awesome. But all around, it'd be cool to see them on the table together, because I don't think I have a 1/100 scale. None of the other ships are 1/100 scale to sort of match this. But all around, a super cool ship with a lot of great detail, guys. And I want to thank you all for joining us. Remember, these ships, as awesome as they are RC-wise, they are cool enough on their own for a lot of people, as we've come to find out ever since we started selling them, that we have tons of people who are just pick these up for static display, which is awesome. And I can see why. You get yourself some 100 scale Navy figures or something. You can really deck this ship out. Maybe even if you weather it a little bit. If you're good with the airbrush, you're going to have a lot of fun there too. But all around, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching today, this Friday, July 19th. And stay tuned. We're going to probably be live next week with something else. We tend to be live with things as they come out, and every week is always a new week. Like as Bill said in the chat, have a great weekend. Everyone enjoy your blue skies and calm seas. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching Motion RC. If you can and you haven't, click the subscribe button down below. Hit the like button. That always helps us out. But the best thing you could do is just shop at Motion RC for anything you need in the RC world. All right, guys, that'll do it for us. See you next time. Bye.